what's up, everybody? It's me, Quinn. Had a thought, just want to share with you. Again, something that's been helping me throughout this week. Stay focused and want to share with you. I hope it helps you as well. This time it's coming out of the book of 2 Corinthians, actually, chapter 12, starting verse 7 real quick. And it says, "Unless I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan, to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me." And the word I've been thinking about is reoccurring this week and for some time actually is adapting. The reason I say adapting is because you look at Paul here, and Paul, who wrote most of the Bible, most of the New Testament rather, as far as the Bible, and who did many great things. Paul is basically praying to God and asking God for his request. Lord, I got this issue just thorn in my flesh and it's just bothering me. I want you to take it away from me. And God's response is, in so many words, is, "You're good, I'm with you." And you would think this is not the response that Paul was looking for, otherwise he wouldn't ask for it to be removed. But when God told him, "My grace is sufficient for you," just like Paul said, "I'm good with that." Instead of him griping and complaining and say, "God, you're not changing the situation, you're not removing this from me, you're not helping me in any way possible," Paul says, "I've learned to glory in my infirmities." Why? Because the power of Christ is on me. And so when I think about Paul and that and all the stuff he did and how he had that resolve to move forward in spite of him not getting what he thought was the best thing, it helps me to realize that, if God is with us, that's enough. We may not get the exact thing we want, and when it comes to us in this world, if anything, that 2020 COVID shut down and everything has taught us that change is the only constant, and we have to be able to adapt to all the changes. One minute we're working from home, the next minute tell us, "Hey, we need to come back in an office," and like many of us kind of like, "I'm good at home," but we have to adapt. We have to learn, and with that, being able to adapt and be able to adjust with all the changes around it, it teaches us one thing. It reminds us one thing, rather, I would say, that the world is constantly changing, but God is consistent. The Bible tells us that he changes not. So if the world changes and we adapt, but we remain rooted in him, anchored in the rock, then we'll be fine, because he's always with us. And that's the most important thing, is that we don't, completely abandon the ship. We don't throw up our hands when we don't get what we want. We understand that his grace is sufficient and he's always with us, no matter how much things change around us. And it leads me to another verse that Paul talks about. It's a common verse, but I want to read the verse before it. And actually in Philippians 4, going to verse 12 first, Paul says, "I know both how to be abased, how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need." 13 says, "And I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me." It's like Paul took that lesson when God told him, "My grace is sufficient." And he said, in life, I've been through it all. Up, down, belly been full, belly been hungry. I've been through some good times and some bad times. And no matter what happened, I understand this: I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not I can do anything I want to do because Christ is going to give me some superpower boost to do it. He said, no matter what situation I find myself in, I know that I'm good. Why? Because his grace is sufficient. And because of that, I can do all things through Christ, because he strengthens me. That's something I'm learning. It's definitely been helping me. Again, I hope it helps you. Till next time, God bless. Peace.